So this past week, I believe it was in Los Angeles, Canelo Alvarez and Sergey Kovalev had a face-off. And during the course of this face-off, yes, I can't tell which camera I'm looking at. During the course of this face-off, it was noticeable that Canelo Alvarez, who's not a small man by any stretch, a natural middleweight, I suppose, just looked absolutely dwarfed next to Sergey Kovalev. But here was the funny part about this, Brian Campbell. I posted that on my Instagram, and I looked at the comments generally. There were some people being like, wow, because I had said that Canelo was daring to be great. So, and what I noticed was there was a real challenge to that narrative. So there's two narratives to this fight. One is it's the Golden Boy narrative, which I think it's got some, look, Golden Boy's going to say whatever they need to sell a fight, but I don't think they're saying lies per se when they say Canelo's daring to be great by going up 2 weight classes at light heavyweight to take on Sergey Kovalev. On the other hand, you know what I did see? And I got to be honest, it kind of surprised me. They were saying Canelo, what he really should be doing is fighting Triple G a third time, and what he's doing is he's avoiding Triple G because he wants to get somebody who's washed, ostensibly in this case Kovalev. Yes, it's up 2 weight classes, but he's getting him at a point in his career where he's coming off that tough fight against Yard, and he's just a little bit long in the tooth generally. So the question is there something to be said for this push by Canelo that is, if not disreputable, this is not the direction he should be going? I have to tell you, I find it totally and utterly baffling. Look, first of all, I'm not suggesting that Canelo has never benefited from the judges seeing things his way. In fact, I've never seen a fighter in MMA or boxing who just finds himself on the right side of the scorecard
every single time.
And when
by the way, against Mayweather, in which I thought he lost 11 rounds to 1, and
Yeah.
that 1 was generous. Let's not forget, C.J. Ross gave him 6 rounds.
I understand, and other fights as well. You look at some of the scorecards against Erislandy Lara.
I thought Lara beat him. I thought
Lara beat him as well.
I thought Jacobs was close to a draw.
The Trout one was a little bit dicey, but still, to your point, he just keeps coming up roses. Okay, so that first fight to me, I thought Triple G won. The second one, I did not. I thought Canelo won that one fairly convincing. Again, both of them were close, both of them were tight, both of them were epic. The issue is not that I don't want to see a third one with Triple G. I don't understand what the fans are complaining about. I know what Canelo is saying, which is, I'm done with this chapter, it's over. You talk to everybody else in boxing, including the promoters, they're like, no, it's not over at all. Why not take a detour, as risky as it might be, and become the third person to be able to do what Canelo has done in going up those 2 weight classes to make boxing history, even if the argument is that Kovalev is coming off of a tough fight in recency and is a little bit long in the tooth generally. You're spotting the guy 2 weight classes. He looked like his big brother in there. So to me, the argument that he's ducking a guy he's already fought 24 rounds with, which again, I know Triple G is getting a little bit older. He's a little bit longer in the tooth himself. So the clock is ticking.
I mean, that's the argument if you think Canelo's
Hold on,
ducking.
the last thing on this is he fought Triple G 2 different ways, once getting backed up and then once backing him up. It's not like he doesn't, like, it wasn't like two times he eked by on the guy. He made adjustments the second time. My only point being is, while I have intrigue for a third fight with Triple G, and I would love to see it, and I really, truly hope that it happens, the idea that this is some, I don't know, effortless detour to rack up a win that is meaningless against a guy who really doesn't have it anymore, this is just a demonstrably false narrative being pushed by people who think he got lucky the first time on the scorecards. And maybe he did. It doesn't make Kovalev washed, and it doesn't make this a bullshit detour, because it's not.
No, and look, if it was anybody else but Kovalev, you could make the argument. If it was Demetrius Andrade, if it was Sergey Derevyanchenko, which they were in talks in, you could say, look, I get it, Canelo. You're going to unify with these other guys, but Triple G is the fight fans want. Canelo's argument had been, I don't like the guy. I don't owe him anything, and more importantly, I'm chasing history. Triple G doesn't have a belt right now. Hey, go out and get a belt, which Triple G's now doing. He'll fight Derevyanchenko on October 5th in a great fight.
On DAZN.
And now, this is the when you're going to not fight Triple G because you got issues with him and you don't want to give him that payday, and you're still pissed at him for saying that you've got needle marks on your arm from the steroids and all that, and you know that DAZN's pissed off at you because they wanted the Triple G fight, your own promoter and all that, but then you go and say, I'm going to move up 2 weight classes. I'm going to fight Kovalev. It's a little bit washy, which makes it interesting, but it's still 2 weight classes with no catch weight. Hey, guess what? Canelo learned from Floyd. He knows how to be an A-side. He's not doing what everybody in history has done. When Floyd moved up to fight Canelo, it made him come down 2 pounds. When De La Hoya moved up to fight Bernard Hopkins, it made him come down 2 pounds. When Manny moved up to fight Oscar, he made him come down in weight. Everyone has made them happen. When you're the A-side and you're the star and you're moving up, it's always a crutch you take. You know what Kovalev's trainer, Buddy McGirt, said? Thank you, Canelo, for having the balls to do this the right way. amen. You can say what you want about Canelo, but he's proven us that he's arguably the best fighter in the sport. He's certainly our sport's biggest star right now on a crossover and global level, with Anthony Joshua kind of being dimmed from that loss. And this is a tough-ass fight. I think that you can call this sacrilege. Maybe I'm a little bit too reactory to the Diaz-Masvidal pressery. I just spit on you. A lot of fluids coming out right now.
Yeah, not the first time.
Clean up on aisle right now. I'm actually more intrigued by Canelo Kovalev overall than I am by Diaz-Masvidal for a lot of different ways. Yes, Kovalev's after market right now, but good Lord,
the point
he's still powerful and strong, which justifies the point you're making completely.
Right. All I'm saying is I'm not suggesting he's not older. What the point is that he's done. Like he's Kermit Cintron in his last round or something. That's not what's happening here.
That's not what happened here. And look, what Canelo may end up finding, he may walk through him, go to the body like he did against Rocky Fielding, and look, Kovalev's punch resistance is not the same that it was, but he might walk through him like a hot knife, or he may get hit with that jab over and over again and realize my power at 175 is not what it is at 160. Right now, Canelo Kovalev is not only more intriguing to me than Diaz-Masvidal, which is a fight I have to see, but it's more intriguing to me than Triple G Canelo. Because the only reason you really want to see that is if you're either a huge Triple G fan or you're a guy like me who scored both fights for Triple G and believed overall, how does he come out of those two great all-time action fights without scorecards in his direction? If you want to see him try to get a chance to right that wrong, you want to see that third fight. Plus, it would deliver for everyone financially and entertainment-wise. But this is a fight that extends what Canelo's already done historically, potentially extends his legacy in a way that's not cheap. Kovalev is still an active champion who just outboxed Eleider Alvarez after getting knocked out by him, still got it to a certain level. Talk about his balls, would you? Last time I tried to talk about his satchel, you tried to speed me out of the show. Jay was in your ear. Sit here and talk about this man's...
Finally, Jay is shutting his mouth today. This is the best day of my life. 2 points I would like to make about this. The situations are in no way identical. However, what was one thing Daniel Cormier was able to do absent John Jones being around? He was able to go to heavyweight. Yes, he recaptured the light heavyweight title, but forget about that for a moment. He carved his own path. He went up to heavyweight. I know he recently lost to Stipe, but the first time they faced each other, he won. It was a level of sporting accomplishment that had nothing to do with a rival, that it was just all his own. Now, maybe Stipe ends up being a new rival because of this now new shared history. I'm pointing out, yes, Canelo got the better of Triple G, whether he should have or shouldn't have, but he did. But still, pivoting towards Kovalev, it's another way to say I have these different parts of my resume that should matter. I don't have to keep going back to the well. I really kind of appreciate that. Second, it really is true. More money, more problems, more attention, right? Going through and seeing what folks are saying about Canelo, he better have some Mexican tacos this time, you fools. I had someone say he popped for steroids. No, he didn't. He popped for clenbuterol, and this is the situation with clenbuterol in Mexico. It is such a problem with tainted meat. You have youth players in Mexico. The NFL sent out a warning to their athletes in the offseason. Yo, if you go to Mexico, please be careful with what you eat there in terms of the beef off the street, whatever, however you consume it. Contamination is an absolutely real issue. Am I suggesting to you that he is some innocent butterfly that the world has misunderstood? No, but here's what I am saying. He has absolute, unequivocal, scientific, plausible deniability. They're trying to find any little crack in the armor to say that this guy is some kind of fraud. It's the hyperbole, Brian, around him. Oh, he's ducking Triple G.
I'm not arguing that. I'm just asking you to talk about the bulge right now.
It's enormous. It is an
nuts on
enormous
this
ball.
guy.
He's got balls like hippity hops. He's going to he's going to bounce his way into the goddamn ring in a way that's just going to be impressive to all of us. I'm going to think he has some kind of elephantiasis disease even.
How are you going to handle that night for you as a journalist and a fan? There's a lot going on.
2 screens. I'm going to have up the BMF belt fight and then for the light heavyweight donkery on the other side.
Right.
You?
I'll be there in Las Vegas for Canelo. I got to see this.
I'm so glad I don't. Oh, you know what? I might go to New York for the BMF one because it's
nearby. How do you not go there? Come on, bro.
I don't like travel.
By the way, I think Dana's failing not allowing the BMF belt to continue. That's my personal take.
Well, a different conversation for a different time. Very quickly, Ryan Garcia, who had huge issues, the up-and-coming next star essentially in boxing, at least certainly with Golden Boy, had huge issues with the promotion. Tells them off on social media. I think the tweets are still up, by the way.
With Canelo retweeting them, by the way, because they share the same trainer now and they're in the same camp.
Daring Oscar to do something about it. Hires, by the way, a famous attorney essentially for athletes in boxing who feel like they've been done wrong. And then all of a sudden, by the way, I had Oscar on my show and he didn't tell me the news and I was so mad. I asked him, like, do you have problems with your athletes? Because we're coming off the whole Canelo's mad at Golden Boy, now Ryan Garcia's mad at Golden Boy. All of a sudden, Ryan Garcia gets a new contract. He's in the co-main event of Canelo versus Kovalev. Yo, the inmates are running the asylum over at Golden Boy.
They are.
Look, on the one hand, it's smart of Golden Boy because they really had no hand to play here. On the other hand, it shows they had no hand to play. Their weakness as an institution relative to some of their signees, there is a huge imbalance, even relative to, let's say, somebody over at Top Rank and what they can do and say to Bob Arum.
Well, because this was a unique situation. For all the top prospects that may have next in boxing, Luke, we're talking about, they're all around the weight class, by the way, the same weight. We're all around lightweight. You got like a Devin Haney, a Teofimo Lopez Jr., that class of guy. Ryan Garcia is in that class, but he's by far the least tested. He's by far the one who you look at and says, oh, that guy's definitely going to be a world champion for decades.
Also maybe the most popular.
But he's the most popular. That's why it's unique. He's got 3 million Instagram followers. He's out there impregnating fans. I mean, it's happening right now. He's in them DMs and they're sloppy. I asked him to see it. He said no, by the way. But the whole point is, what Golden Boy's paying for right now is his stardom, because he's like, look, I'm the one promoting my fights. I've got more of a reach than you guys do. You need to pay me like I'm a star. And if you see the release that came out in the quotes, now we didn't see the details, we know it's a multi-fight deal in which Golden Boy is saying it's the most in history ever given to a prospect. This is Golden Boy really doubling down on Garcia's future. Even though just a week before, on DAZN, Oscar De La Hoya gave an interview while they were battling where he kind of ripped Ryan Garcia and was like, look, in my day, man, I'm fighting anybody. I'm just fighting. Maybe guys aren't wired like that today. So it makes me wonder how much of them throwing the boat at Garcia, who's in camp with Canelo, was also about trying to make sure everything's good with Canelo and that we're all good moving forward. It's interesting. They went all in on Rye Guy. I'm not saying that King Rye doesn't have the potential it factor, but we don't know if he has the backbone of a other pretty boy named Oscar De La Hoya, a guy who brought all the women to the fights, but then could still knock dudes out and win in advance. Ryan Garcia now has even more of a bullseye and a target on him. He gets a co-main event pay-per-view slot against a guy who's calling him out, but the guy, I can't even remember his name. That's how unproven the guy is that he's going to fight in that fight. It's going to be interesting how this plays out, Luke. 3 million followers can't be wrong, though.
He certainly can't be.
He played his cards well to get the money right now. He leveraged the Canelo situation.
I mean, De La Hoya was over a barrel. Just the mere appearance of you losing your grasp on your top star in boxing and certainly in your stable, and then potentially the next big thing, certainly a popular attraction, and both of them are beefing with you and then aligned against you, you have no choice. And he had to show it. It just shows how weak Golden Boy is institution to rally this.
You and Oscar go out afterwards? A little party action?
No, we certainly didn't. But